So here's the skinny to date. We put a crazy man in a Mustang to test its performance or find its lack of. We found out the true facts on what it did or didn't have. We spoke with the suspension specialists to sort the handling and delivered the wagon to the makeover specialists. We then met with the brake specialists who think exactly the way we do.
We want to go higher up the food chain.
And we've spoken with some transmission specialists about how we will be controlling the upgraded power plant. And now we talk traction control with the Diff specialists, because this is Project Giddy-Up. Hello and welcome to another episode of Project Giddy-Up, where we're turning an average Mustang into hopefully something pretty cool. Now, whilst the body and the general machine itself is getting a full makeover at Mazel's Panel and Paint, it allows us the opportunity to rip the guts out of it, the engine, the automatic gearbox and the diff, and make those better units than standard. So we've brought the diff to the guys who know everything about them. That's Diffspecs. They're in Drury, just in the southern regions of Auckland City. And I'm with Dennis from Diffspecs, and I'm going to do my best, Dennis, to ask the questions that most people want to know about diffs, because they are very confusing things, and if you don't have a diff, then, well, your car's not going anywhere. And people take them for granted. You hear about diffs blowing all the time. We don't want that. Hey, look, it can still happen though. But anyway, as far as I'm aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's three types of diffs. We've got an open, a limited slip, and a lock. And that's it.
Yes.
That's those three things sorted. Right. What does this Mustang come with?
Comes with a true track.
True track.
Yeah.
Okay, is that a limited, an open, or a locked?
That's a limited slip diff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just a Ford thing they put in it.
That's right. Yeah. They can either have a true track or they can have a track lock.
Okay. Is it good enough to do what we want to do with the up and the horsepower and a few tweaks here and there?
Yeah, it's not a bad sort of application, but it really, to make it a little bit better for what you guys are going to do with it.
Yep.
I think we can improve on it by putting, high performance plates in it and shimming it so that it's got a bit more traction.
Okay. Let's jump back a little step though, because the confusing bit for people is how a diff works, because you've got the drive shaft going in there,
yes,
and it's spinning, and inside you've got all these gears going funny directions, sending the power to the axles, and when people see it they go, no, how does that work? It just makes no sense. Now, you've got one, so let me grab this one, and I'm going to hold this, and you're going to do your best to explain. Now, I understand the axle will be where? The axles is this one?
Axles on each side.
Right, we're going to hold the axle here.
Yes.
Right, where's the drive shaft coming from?
The drive shaft comes through here, that's bolted, there's a crown wheel, and the crown wheel sits on here.
Yes, that's the big giant gear.
Yes. Yeah. And the pinion's up against it, that's what's connected to your drive shaft.
Right, now we do have one, right, here we go.
Yep.
One of these,
yep,
and it connects onto a gear here.
Yes.
So, when this is spinning, your drive shaft, and it spins forward or backwards, okay, it obviously spins this whole thing.
Bolt thing, right.
Now, if it's spinning that whole thing like that, why are the axles, explain?
Well, because you've got axles, when you have both, you hold both of them, they both turn together.
Right, so
you can feel the resistance.
I see, so if
you just had one axle, you see, it'll turn on its own. That's why it allows you to go around a corner without any resistance.
Okay, so an open diff is where it makes the outside wheel of whichever turn you're going. I'm loving this grease, by the way. Whichever way you're going, spin faster to keep up. So, while I'm spinning this whole carriage, this wheel here can go a little bit quicker, and it takes a bit of spin here.
That's right.
Now, we don't want that on a car that could go on the track, do something fun.
We want both wheels to
be driving. So that means we don't want to be open, we want to be limited. Now, you were saying there's plates in here.
Yes.
Plates doing what? Try and explain those.
Right, you have these, we call them frictions.
They almost look like a clutch plate.
That's right.
It's just a baby clutch plate.
Yes.
Okay.
Has a friction on either side.
Yes.
With a steel plate and a steel plate on the other side.
Okay.
And so the more you can clamp those up, the tighter that diff will be. And we do that with they come with a Belleville spring.
Yes.
And you can either put a more curve on the Belleville spring.
Yes.
Or you can add more shims, which will give you a tighter and a grip harder.
So depending on what we want to do with the car, or anyone wants to do with the car, they can come to you and say, look, I want to do this, this and this to my car. You set
Yeah,
those pads and shims to the work that's been done.
that's right, yes. Yeah, we have a certain...
I'm liking this.
Well, we have a tension that we set them to, which is drivable on the road.
Yes.
And then we have another tension we set them to if you want to do it on a track or drags or anything like that.
Okay, now we're going to be doing both.
Yes.
Does that cause issues?
Not really. We've got an intermediate setting that we can put them at, and that'll do both jobs.
Okay, does it lean more towards an open or a locked?
More towards a lock with your application. You want to go to the drags, you want to go to circuit racing, well, we will do it to that.
Okay, so just to reiterate again, we've got either an open, a limited, or a locked diff.
Yeah.
This comes standard with a limited diff,
Yeah,
limited
yes,
slip.
slip,
Now, are most
yeah.
cars on the road limited or open?
No, they're mostly open.
Mostly open. Okay, so we've got a limited that you're going to make better,
Yeah.
lean towards a locked.
Yes. Yeah.
Would I actually, driving down the road, normally notice what you've done?
Not in a straight line you won't, unless
Okay.
you take off in a hurry.
Oh,
You'll
yeah,
see
we-
both wheels will spin,
Yes.
whereas in a normal car, one wheel will spin, which makes you go sideways and all over the road, very uncontrollable.
And we obviously don't want a fully locked diff
No.
all the time because
No,
it
it'll
would just be disastrous.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty simple. So the best thing for me to do now is just let you guys get on with doing the job and supplying us with something that actually can do the job, because one day I'm hoping they'll give me the keys and I'll actually find out if this diff is doing what it's meant to be doing, and then we'll try and keep the keys away from Angus Fogg, who will say, no, I want more lock. He would, wouldn't he?
Definitely.
See,
you know
that's-
Angus?
Yeah, there's Angus. All right, so that's Diffspecs. So this is what they're doing. They're going to put that power that we're doing with the engine onto the wheels. Get us down the road a whole lot quicker.